Another evening on the Keep Going podcast. I'm trying to work on the new intro, Dave. How are we doing, Big Dave?
Pretty good. We got a special guest here today, a Union Bulldog alumni, Colton Stegman, in the house today. How we doing, Colton?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be on the podcast, talk some mental health. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I appreciate Big Dave making the connection. Obviously, I'm a big Union Bulldog fan. I'm a big Jake Peterson and Ray Peterson fan. Obviously, David Mitchell as well. Good to have a fellow U alum on the pod. Tell me about this, though, man. You're in beautiful Florida. It's a beautiful spring day, hopefully by you. Why'd you decide to jump on the pod today?
Yeah, man. Just wanted to talk about mental health, how it applies to athletes and then athletes coming out of college. It's a big part, big transition in life. I think everybody should know more about it and just, hearing other people's experiences have always helped me. So hopefully, I can reach out to someone and they'll get good experience out of it. So.
Love it, man. Well, I want to get it going right from the jump. Obviously, I just told you I'm coming fresh off a lesson right now at Athletes HQ. I'm still involved in the game. I have a lot of athletes I talk to that they get out of the game and they don't really know what to do, man. What did you do when you were done playing ball, and what are you up to these days? We'll go into your playing career, but I want to know what's going on after baseball for you.
Yeah, baseball, man, was everything for me. It was my whole life until last year, pretty much. Um, After that, I kind of just tried to find my way, worked my way, and get my master's degree. Finished that up, got a good job. And we're still figuring it out day by day, but there's a lot that goes into it, man. Just I feel like not enough people know that it's okay to struggle a little bit right out of school, right off of a sport. It can be hard, but you just gotta keep going. Yeah.
I love it, man. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah, yeah. I think that's an important part that you just said right there, that it's okay to not have everything figured out right when you get out of college, especially if you are an athlete out there, that like me, like Pat, like yourself, we played this sport for 22, 23, 24 years old, and then you just stop playing it. It's a hard transition, and it's okay to not feel like everything is figured out when you
Yes.
finish playing.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me specifically how you have dealt with that after your career. Is there anything that you do, you focus on in your day, your routine to help you through that process, that transition?
Yeah, I think there's things that help through the day to day as well as the big picture. Faith has been a really big part in my, day to day life and going through with that. I think, just keeping in mind that God's got a plan for me. And so it's kind of out of my control either way. And then just the day to day stuff, making sure you stay on top of everything, you're still taking care of yourself. It boils down to who you are at the end of the day. I mean, you're still the same person. You just got to find out a different path. Maybe sports are still involved, maybe they aren't, but you just got to find something you're passionate about and keep going off of that and find out what you're supposed to do.
Stag's dropping some big time keep goings right away. And I'm a
Yeah,
big
man.
fan. I'm
Gotta
going to
gotta
hear
throw them in
that
there.
because obviously that's the mantra here. I would tell you, well, two things. One, I love your vibe, man. Like, really quickly, I love the first impression vibe from you. You're just a good old baseball guy. I could just tell straight away. Second thing, I got to know about your testimony, man. We're obviously men of faith on this podcast. Tell me about your faith journey and your testimony. I got to know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I've always been a believer, but I wouldn't say I really started taking it seriously until the past couple years. Found God in college, good old Barberville, Kentucky at the U.
How
Uh,
could you not, man? It's God's country.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bible Belt country. I had a really great coach who taught me a lot about the Bible, how it implemented into sports and everyday life. Really good pastor. Me and one of my buddies would just go there every Sunday after church, just talk to the pastor. I mean, it was great. We could talk about life. We could talk about, the sermon that day, whatever we had going on, sports. And from there, moved down here, kind of was feeling some things out. Like I said, having faith in God, He's going to put me in the right place. Made some really good connections, found a great girl, and that really helped me strengthen my faith and just be able to keep going with that. And yeah, so I mean, it was pretty short, but God's still working, and give him all the glory.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Go ahead, Dave. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love to hear that. I'm learning something new about you
Hmm.
today, Stag. I never knew that you were doing that at the U. You were
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great to hear. And I think for anyone that is going through that hard time, lean on that faith, lean on someone. For myself, I lean on my faith now all the time, praying, trusting God in the process of you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Even
Amen.
though if you're not sure about the future, um, you can find some peace when you lean into your faith, or for myself, and I really like that peace. Going outside of that, talk a little bit about your baseball career, um, how you started through the process, and then how you ended up at Union College.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean, I've been playing baseball my whole life. All the way up to high school. Senior year of high school, I didn't know where I was going. I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado, so not necessarily, the best baseball there when it comes to Florida, Texas, those kind of places. But yeah, I was able to go to small school out in Colby, Kansas, Colby Community College.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Spent about 3 years there. Great baseball, great dudes. When you're in a place that doesn't have much around, you just grow to love the guys and really become tight knit, and just love to work together. So that was amazing experience. From there, didn't have the best third year due to COVID and everything. I had 3 years. Didn't have the best third year, but reached out to some places, and the U is one of them. So, being able to talk to Coach Peterson, was actually the one that recruited me.
The guy. The
Yeah,
guy.
shout out Coach
Shout them
Peterson if you're
out,
watching
Shout
shout
this.
the
them
boy
out.
out. Episode
Yeah.
something. I'm gonna have to look back at what it is. Him and Ray. Check it out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, had really good conversations with Coach Peterson. Didn't really know much about the school or Kentucky in general. I'd never been out there. But yeah, thought about it, prayed about it a little bit, and I was like, you know what, this is a good spot for me. I've always been the guy to just ship it out somewhere on a whim. Just life's too short to, not want to go do things and go do it. So went out there, made some great connections. Dave was one of those connections, really good friend. And yeah, had a great 2 years at Union, and just hanging out with the dogs.
Love
Yeah,
it, man.
for anyone out there that's in the recruitment process and doesn't know where they're going to end up, take that leap, take that chance. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about
Absolutely.
taking that chance, because you just don't know how it's going to end up. But for myself, I had no idea. Union, Kentucky, Barberville, Kentucky, no idea, middle of nowhere. And it was the best time of my life. Talk a little bit about just not knowing, but jumping in to that uncertainty.
Yeah, man. I mean, uncertainty, change, everything like that can be pretty scary for everybody. But I think, like I said, life's too short to not take those jumps, take those chances. It's all going to work out eventually. And you just got to trust the process, be where your head is, where your feet are, and know where you're going to go. And if you don't know where you're going to go, that's all right. You're going to figure it out. Just being able to really really think about it, lay out your options, and be like, okay, this I'm gonna make the decision. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then once you make that decision, don't look back. Just go at it full force, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, man. I have to ask, and that's beautiful spoken. I just outside of your faith, man. Obviously, a big part of your life. I could just
Mhm.
tell right when you jumped on. I could tell there was something bigger than you here. When things were not going well, anxiety, maybe homesickness, struggles on the field. You talk about that time during COVID. I mean, Dave played for me during that time, right? Like my fiance was out playing during that time, and it was tough. What'd you do when times were tough outside of your faith?
Yeah, man. I think when times get tough, it's important to just stick to the day to day. At the end of everything, it's gonna pass, whatever it is, the good, the bad, the ugly. You're gonna go through those rocky times, and you're gonna come out of those rocky times. So sticking to the day-to-day routines, whether it's sports, getting your swings in throughout the day. You're in a slump, you just gotta work through it, whatever you're doing. And then in life, man, you just gotta keep going. I keep saying it, you just gotta keep going. And yeah, I mean, it you got to work yourself out of it, and you got to have that mindset that it's all going to pass eventually, good, the bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think what I'd ask next, if you're going to keep saying it, we do have a pretty cool thing on this podcast where we ask the guest what your keep going moment is. Something like that that broke you down. I got to ask you, man, what was that keep going moment for you? And talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so for baseball at least, that breakdown moment for me was definitely the last year I played college baseball. The year before, had a starting spot, played pretty much every game that I was able to. Um, then next year came around and I wasn't doing great. I mean, I didn't deserve to play just off of, the stats. And I knew that and everything was all right. It was tough going from that high position and then being like, man, gotta support the guys now, even though I'm not out there. So that was hard, but you gotta have the mindset. Like I said, one of my good buddies, Luke Pell, one day, I think we were probably quarter way through the season, and he's
He's
like,
coming on here, right, Dave? He's coming on
He's
in a couple
coming on
weeks.
"Oh,
next. We
okay,
got some
nice,
Bulldogs coming on here.
yeah, there we go." But he just asked me one day, he's like, "Hey man, like you're struggling. I've never seen you like this. What are you doing? Like, what's going on?" And I said, it's all right, man. I'm gonna get through it. And that's all it is. It's just a slump. I think you got to realize, especially in baseball, like nobody's gonna be great all the time. Especially, if it's your last year, if it's your first year, you just gotta, bare knuckle it and swing away and, find your way out of it. So that was definitely a breakdown moment for me. It was tough. A lot of sleepless nights. Like, man, what am I doing? How do I get through this? But yeah, just gotta get through it one day at a time.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, that is that is a good keep going moment for sure. I've gone through that process
Mhm.
as an athlete as well. Um, and you want to be out there on the field so bad,
Mhm.
but there's so much more to life than just a game. And you get to be around such a good group of guys. And for me, like being in that moment, it's really hard to be feel present because especially in baseball, you're thinking about what's next, what's next. But to find some gratitude in the moment that you get to be out there with the guys, even if you're not starting, helped me enjoy it a little bit more. And I really
Mhm.
like that keep going moment. You fought through, you made it through, you're okay, you're living. Things got better for you, and things will get better, and you will get through that hard time, no matter what you're going through, inside of sport, outside of sport.
Amen,
Absolutely.
brother. I think that perspective is so key. I think it's easy for you, Stag, to be like, hey, man, like, I'm not playing anymore. I was a guy last year, lack for better words. Whatever. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this isn't
Mhm.
for me anymore. Or you could buy into the bigger picture and you look at the success that Union had while you were there and you go, wow, I was part of something special. And if you're the core of the nucleus, if you're a supporting cast member, that doesn't matter. What matters
Mhm.
is we're sitting here on the Keep Going podcast today, and Dave, out of hundreds of teammates he's had ever, he decided I want to have this guy on. And I think that's powerful. And I think as a guy that is, I've mentioned on a lot of episodes, I'm getting married next October. I got 5 former teammates in my wedding party, and that's not because of the baseball memories. It's because of the guys. It's because we
Absolutely.
bought into being better people and growing together. And Dave, I know when you get married one day, man, I'll be out with you, man. Obviously, you'll be at mine in October. You'll be at Stags, all that good stuff. That's why we do this stuff. And I hope kids and adults that are listening that are already in relationships understand it's so much deeper than the game.
Absolutely, man. The game's going to end eventually, but what stays is the connections that you make, and the brothers that you have out there. Like you said, doesn't matter if you're the main character or, a side role. Just having everybody there, being with your guys, seeing them succeed. It doesn't matter about you at the end of the day. It's all about something greater than you, whether it's life or sport. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about baseball is there's 9 dudes out there with you, or 8 with you,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to lean on each other in the hard times and the good times. and, just hopefully seeing some success out of that. And if not, then at least you made out with some great connections.
Hey, run that back, baby. Dave, let's go some questions and answers. You're going first, baby. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, I'm proud of you, Steg. You are the man. Thank you for coming on here today.
For having me.
My first question for you is tell me someone that has impacted you in a tremendous way in your life and
Yeah, yeah,
why.
absolutely. Yeah, so like I said, my pastor back in Barberville, that was huge.
Can you
Jumping.
shout him out by name? Is that allowed?
What's that?
Can you shout him out by name? Is that allowed?
Yeah, Pastor Jeff, man, Pastor Jeff. Yeah.
The guy.
But yeah, no, great guy. Just being able to sit down with him, and just talk about everything and like literally, when I say everything, I mean everything. We would talk hours about just baseball. Talk about God. We'd talk about life, what we're doing after school. So that was a very big role model. And also, back in my earlier days before college, my cousin Brandon was my coach from the time I was 8 to about 16. Taught me everything I knew about baseball. So that was great having him by my side the whole way. He went to the same junior college as I did. Kind of pulled some strings, helped me try out there. Got me to be where I am today. So those are two really big guys for me, for sure.
Love
Shouting
it.
guys out. We love it. We love a good shout out on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Second thing, man, I got to ask you, and I've asked this question the last couple of weeks. Greatest competitor you've ever seen?
Ooh, greatest competitor. That's a good question. That's a good question. Um, with me, I'd say greatest competitor is one of my old teammates, Alex Cook. He plays for the Rays now in the Rays organization, and he was just a dog, man. I mean, everybody he went up against, he's like, "Oh, I'm better than you." Great, humble guy off the field. Just one of the guys. But just being able to go out there and compete his butt off at every situation, it was fun to watch. Absolutely.
I got the chills,
That's
buddy.
it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
That's it. Believe in yourself. Even though the circumstance might be tough, believe in yourself. Can go a far way in life and in uh, the sport. Um, Tell me if someone is struggling out there today, they're not where they want to be, or they want to be a little bit more happy. They want to feel a little bit more fulfillment. What would you tell them? Where do you start?
I'd say, first of all, we live in a pretty rough time coming up. If you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, it's not easy. So first thing I'd say is, it's okay. You can be a little bit easier on yourself sometimes. I know it can be hard, especially for people, with mental health issues. Being able to say, okay, everything's all right. Everything's going to be all right. And also just taking that little bit of time, whether it's daily, weekly, I enjoy just, sitting out in the sunshine every once in a while, 30 minutes a day. If you're able to, if you're in a sunny place, if not, you might want to find something else. But just enjoy the little things in life, man, because, you can't get caught up in the hustle and bustle all the time. You got to have some fun and be able to relax. So I think that's a big part of it. And just be a little bit easy on yourself because it can be hard. I know that's a big thing for me. I'm pretty hard on myself. I'm learning to find out ways to be better with that. And that's definitely helping. But yeah, just keep going and find where you need to be. Take that little bit of time each and every day. Just enjoy yourself. And yeah, keep working.
Love that, man. I got
All
one
time.
more. I got one more, and then we'll send us home. We're right at the 30-minute mark. Stag, this has been awesome, man. I have to ask you, though, in your young 20s, right? Like during these tough times, what are you trying to be remembered for?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. And I think, there's a lot of good answers. But I think I'm just trying to be remembered for, a good guy. You can depend on me. I'll be there for you. If you need somebody to talk to, you're going through it, I'll be there, whether with that being my personal relationships, my teammates in the past, everybody involved, just being able to be like, yeah, he's got me. I don't need to be the best out. I don't need to be the best baseball player. I don't need to be the smartest dude. But I think I want to be remembered for somebody that's, gonna have your back.
Old Stegman, what a send off. Go ahead, Dave.
And you are that person. You are that person already, Steg. I appreciate you coming on here today. This was one of the all-timers, B.
Yeah. Yes.
For sure. Yeah, this one hit me different. I'm kind of at a loss of words here today. Colton Stegman, thank you for coming on. What a person. What a guy. What a stash.
This guy.
Shout out the stash.
This guy, Steg, we are forever grateful for today, man. Thank you for taking time. If I'm a young athlete today, run the 30 minutes back and really dissect it, take some notes and understand it takes what it takes. It's going to have some ups and downs as part of it. But above all else, Steg, keep going, brother. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.